What's up, everybody? It's your boy D Max. So let's talk. So we live in a country that boasts about being the land of the free and the home of the brave, and so forth and so on. It's a very great title and thing to go up under. It's great for morale and great for pride, but how much truth is really in that whenever you look at the condition of our society today? Because what I'm looking at is that we are sitting here and we're claiming freedom and that we're always fighting for freedom every time we go into a war or some type of foreign uh, any type of foreign situation. We claim that we're fighting for the freedom of the American people, and the whole insurrection on January 6th was about the freedom of the people. And so we claim that we have this just cause and we're always fighting for this freedom, but yet at the same time, when somebody has a view that doesn't fall in line with ours, we have this sense of that we have to quiet them down. We have to shut them up, that they have no right to speak because they don't line up with our ideals and with what we believe is the right way of going about things. So, how then are we actually exercising freedom whenever we're trying to oppress somebody else from speaking just because they don't say what we're saying? They're not parroting what we say. This is what my point is, and this is what I try to get people to see all the time. Why is it that I can't feel the way that I feel and still be a part of this? Because I feel contrary to what you believe. There's a lot of things in the United States that are not going to be the same for the simple fact that the United States is a cultural melting pot. United States allow people to come in and they allow them to exercise or to operate within their belief system within the parameters of the laws of the United States. Now, if something in your belief system goes against the laws of the United States, then the laws of the United States are going to supersede that. But I'm not talking about people who are out here, their belief system or their culture causes them to want to do human sacrifices. I'm not talking about any extremes like that. I'm talking about people who come to this country who have a different religion, who have a different belief, different culture or whatever, and they integrate within the United States, and it's they're compatible and they're living their life out in the United States. But you have some people who are going to look at them wrong, who are always going to look at them in some type of way and put a certain narrative on these people because they don't believe the same way that you believe, and because they don't live under the same rule or the same moral standard code that you deem fit and civilized. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about different religious backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, all of these things that separate us and make us different from each other. We try to persecute each other for because we either don't have any understanding or we believe that our way of thinking and our way of doing things is superior to others and that they should follow suit with us. Now, those are the two reasons that fuel most of the hatred and the anger behind the negative connotation of our country. And the negative connotation that I'm talking about is that we are a divided country who claims to be united. That's the negative connotation that we live up under. Everybody across the world can look and see that the United States is not united. And this is something that I've said before, so it's not like it's a new thing. But we will try to we will try to carry on this charade with the rest of the world. We'll try to wear this mask to the rest of the world. And the only people that seem to believe it is us. and we follow suit and we do a lot of things knowingly and unknowingly to carry on this charade to the rest of the world that the United States is a place of freedom. But yet, at every single turn, I see people's freedoms being just violated. People can't say what they want to say. People can't express their views and their ideas without having some type of repercussion or some type of consequences thrusted upon them based on what their status in society is. Now, the lower your status is, then the less consequences that can be placed upon you because they don't really have much to hold over your head. They really don't have much leverage with somebody who doesn't have much to give away and is not attached to the worldly things and the material things of this world. So these are the things that they use to entice people, but not only to entice people, but to control people into giving up these things and to uh, try to ostracize anybody who thinks outside of what they believe. And now you see this whenever you get a Democrat in office, you get a Democratic president, you're going to see everything on the Democratic side of the aisle being bolstered and raising up and being being backed by that Democratic president. But then, whenever you have a Republican president who gets in office, then you're going to see all of the Republican things being backed by the, by that administration. And so this is what we play on. And so you're just playing ping pong back and forth between these two ideals. And both of these ideals have put us in the position that we're in now as a country. So if you were to really evaluate where we are as a country, you have to blame it on both sides. But yet and still, we will sit here and say that, oh, well, the Republicans don't know what they're talking about. And then the other side will say, well, the Democrats don't know what they're talking about. And you have this constant battle of people trying to prove that they're right. And in and in their quest to prove that they're right, they will allow a lot of people to suffer just for them to prove that their side is right. And this is where identity politics come into play. This is what identity politics is about. It's not about what's right or wrong. It's about your side being right or wrong and them therefore being seen as superior. And there's, like I said before, there's a lot of people who suffer in the wake of these types of identity politics. And so whenever you play these types of games, you're not going to get anything for the people. You're only going to get a bunch of identity politics, and you're going to get two sides of the scale who's going to do things to benefit people who think like them, and anybody who does not think like them, then they're pretty much going to dismiss whatever they need. You know what I'm saying? And this is how our country runs. And so if we think that this is a viable way for us to run and continue to call ourselves the land of the free and the home of the brave, it's not going to fit. It's not going to work. So for us to really exercise the freedoms that we claim to fight for, the freedoms that we claim to die for, why are we trying so hard to suppress what people are saying? That's my question. Why are we trying so hard to suppress what people are saying? What's up, bro? You said that's what most people engage in, which is identity politics. But it gets us nowhere, man. Identity politics gets us absolutely nowhere. You just get one side getting what they want and the other side not getting what they want. And who suffers the most? It's not those people in office because they're set. Their position is set and everything that, the benefits of this country and all of that, they're set. But the people that they represent are the ones who are going to suffer because of that. And so that's my whole point, man. People have to stop. Um, if we're going to have a president, they have to be the president of all people. If we're going to have a governor in a state, he has to be the governor of all people, not just the Republican governor. because that's how it ends up. We have this thing laid out to where it should be a certain way, but we know that that's not how it goes. The whatever party's in power, the people who fall up under that party is the one who's going to benefit. And so we have to get out of this mindset, because this mindset is contrary to what America claims to be. And this whole two-party system is a total oxymoron. It is a total, just the opposite of what America claims to be, because we're not free, and it's not the home of the brave. If you were brave, you would be brave enough to stand up and to speak out, regardless of what the consequences are. And it's sad that we have consequences for speaking our minds as a people. The people's voice is not being heard, and not everybody is going to sing the same song. Everybody has different circumstances in their life. Everybody has different backgrounds and environments that they come from. Everybody has different experiences. So everybody's going to have a different point of view and a different take on things. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, can you respect that take on things just because it don't line up with yours? Just because it don't line up with your belief system, because it don't make sense to you, because you don't understand their belief system? Can you still can you still respect the fact that that person is allowed to have a belief of their own, that they don't have to fall in line with everything else? I've always heard this: the opposite of courage is conformity. Conforming to something just because it's convenient, just because it's easier, just because it's less of a hassle, less of a struggle. That's cowardice. But what it comes into play, what really comes into play, is that I shouldn't have to be in threat of being slapped for saying a joke. I shouldn't have to be in threat of having something taken away from me because I told a joke, or because I said how I felt. That's crazy to me. That is going totally against what America claims to be all about. So I ask the question again: how can we call ourselves the land of the free and the home of the brave, while at the same time we're turning around and attempting to suppress everybody who speaks against something that's contrary to what we personally believe? It's a contradiction, and America's talking out of both sides of their mouths, and they ain't fooling nobody but themselves. Because you're not fooling me. I'm very big on words. I'm very big on the meaning of words. I'm very big on how those words are used with semantics and all of the other nuances. I'm big on all of that. I search all of that. I seek all of that stuff, and I look for all of that stuff, because I understand that the United States is really good about saying something that has a double or a triple meaning. You know what I'm saying? And they can say, well, we told everybody that it was this. Yeah, you said that, but that was just to cover your butt, and you left something off of it. A half truth is not a truth. So, America is real big on semantics, is real big on spinning words, is real big on manipulating people through speech, because people don't really pay attention anymore. People do not do the due diligence to go and research something anymore. People don't do the due diligence of going and looking up the stats and looking up the data and cross-referencing. People don't do that stuff. They're not going to take the time out of what they call a busy schedule to go and do anything like that. They're just going to take the word of who seems most persuasive and who seem like they have done their due diligence. But I guarantee you, if you challenge most people on their beliefs and tell them to give you something to back up what they believe, they're not going to have nothing. But they're going to stick strongly, and they'll stand up and fight, and they'll run up in buildings, and they'll try to hurt other people when they don't even have a full information about situation. They're informed off of one source, because that source shares their same ideals, and they'll just run off of that. Well, they said it, so it's got to be right. We've seen time and time again on all of the news stations, from CNN to Young Turks to Fox. All of them are people who fall under a certain mindset and a certain set of ideals, and those stations cater to it. And those stations also cater to a certain demographic, which falls up under a certain group like the Republicans or the Democrats, and that's what they cater to, and they push that. And these people are going to see anything outside of these networks that caters to them. Anything outside of that is fake news. We've seen how that's been broadcasted across our nation, and how it's had so many people divided amongst each other because people saying that something is fake news because it goes contrary to what they're saying. So we gotta be mindful of this stuff, man, and we gotta understand that while we sit here and call ourselves the land of the free and the home of the brave, it's not true. It's absolutely not true, and it'll never be true until people actually stand up and stop being afraid to speak what needs to be said and do what needs to be done. Then that's the only time we could get back to calling ourselves the land of the free and the home of the brave. But we're not that right now. We're not at all. Um, so I don't really know, man. Who really knows the candidate's agenda who is running for office? I tell you like this, man. There's so many candidates out here. Nobody really knows what their true motivation is, except for the people that surround them and the people that put them in position. Those are the people who know. And you can tell by the person's constant actions. Like I said, you can talk a good game. I don't care about what you're talking. I don't care about your label or title or none of that. I'm looking at your actions. I'm looking at what you do on a consistent basis. I'm looking at your character on a consistent basis and the sum of what you've done throughout your life. So if the sum of what you've done is just talk a good game and you never produced any fruit from anything that you spoke about, then I'm just going to see you as a good speaker. But if I see that you've been in the trenches and you've been making things happen and you've been supporting people and putting people in office and running for office yourself and doing all of these different things to get in the game, then that's what I'm going to go on. If I see that you've been constantly fighting for the people, and if I see that you've been constantly working towards a change in this system that we know is flawed, instead of just saying that it's okay and going along, that's what I'm going on. You said Trump did have a point when he coined the term fake news. Yeah, he absolutely did, man, because each side wants to fulfill their uh their constituents uh whatever they want. So if you got these people over here who's donating money, who's sponsoring all of these different things, then yeah, you want to keep them happy and you want to push their agenda out there because that's the reason that they became a sponsor for that particular thing anyway, so that their views can be heard and that they can push their views with whatever party is in line with that. And so that's where you get the sponsors and all of the lobbyists and stuff like that. They paying for these people to push their views and push their points. And so when we have somebody who's not willing to fall in line with these lobbyists and take their money just to push their points and their views, then we know that we have somebody viable that will be able to make a conscious decision and not based on a bias of who's paying more money or not. See, this is what we're looking at. We're not looking at people who's going to give it to the bad guy. No, we're looking at somebody who's going to be fair, because we understand in being fair, sometimes the outcome is not going to be what we want it to be, but it's going to be fair. You know what I'm saying? That's all we want is fairness. We're not looking for somebody who's going to give everything to me just because I believe like them. No, I want somebody who don't believe like me, but still willing to help me out regardless. That's what I'm looking for. That's what we need. And until we find people with that type of mentality and with that type of mindset, then we're going to continue to deal with these people who go in with their own agendas and who go in with their own policies and their own ideas that they was just keeping hidden. Say what? See, your character speaks for you. Absolutely. Absolutely, Uncle Vern. Your character speaks for you. And, there's a lot of people out here who can try to fake the funk. But like I said, your actions behind your character is not going to allow you to be seen as a person who only just out here speaking. In your character, if you have good character, you know that there's actions that come behind your words that's gonna make your words strong and gonna give you some authority to speak on something. And so I always look to what a person's been doing, what a person been putting in place, what a person been supporting, and what a person been out here really having their nose to the grind on. Anybody can sit back and talk. That's easy, man. We sit here and do this all day, every day, and just run through ideas and stuff like that. But who's actually stepping up in those offices? Who's stepping up in those town hall meetings and things like that to really make sure that we got somebody in there that has the mind of the people? You said lobbying should be illegal. There's a lot of things that should be illegal, but we know what country we in. We know what country we in, man, and they're going to continue to take that money because that's what they're bred to believe, that money runs everything, that money is power, that money does everything. There's some people who have that mentality, but you know, to each his own on that. I understand that money does is a tool, but money is not everything, man. So when I look to somebody who's for the people, I look for somebody who's not going to be bought. I look for somebody who's not going to compromise because a large amount of money stands to be gained from a certain venture. If you're able to walk away from that money like that, then that means that you have a value system that supersedes monetary values, and that's what I'm looking for. Because we've had so many people that we put in position that failed us because monetary value became their focus, and the thing that put them in office, they seem to forget about it. So, you know, man, let's just say in this country, if you can't speak your mind, if you can't respect a man for standing on his, regardless of whether you agree with it or not, if you can't respect the fact that that man has the courage to stand on his, or that woman has the courage to stand up for theirs, then that's a personal issue that has to be worked out in that individual, man. But I respect anybody's right to say no. I respect anybody's right to speak their mind. I respect anybody's right to speak against something that they feel like is wrong. This is the only way that we can grow as people. This is the only way that we can come up with new ideas, is to be challenged. If there's nobody out there challenging your mindset, then you'll go through life thinking your way is the absolute right way. And there may be some falsehoods in there that needs to be taken out of your mindset or out of your process that's hindering you from moving further in your quest towards knowledge and truth. And so if you reject everything that anybody has to say just because it makes you uncomfortable or don't make you feel good, then you're depriving yourself of gaining further knowledge. And that's the way I look at that, man. So as long as we continue to speak that we have freedoms, but then we turn around and we oppress people because they don't say what we say, then we're never going to be the country that we claim we are. So that's my only point on that. I'm always gonna speak from a place of honesty, man. I'm always gonna speak from a place of not malicious intent. I have no malice in my heart towards nobody at all, but I'm always gonna say what's on my mind and on my heart. And if you don't get along with it, then that's cool. But don't try to make me feel less of a way because I don't believe like you believe. And this is what we do as people to each other, man. We need to stop doing this to each other. Stop trying to make people feel like they stupid because they don't know what you know or what you think you know. Stop trying to make people feel like they inferior because they don't have certain information that you may have been privy to. Not everybody is privy to all the same information. Not everybody have all the same resources. So let's quit trying to down each other and quit trying to make each other seem like less because we're not at the same place as far as information or understanding. We all learn and we all understand and we gather stuff at our own individual pace. And to try to minimize somebody for not being on a level that we're on is, man, that's just a personal problem. That's a personal problem that you need to deal with. Um, I accept anybody's view, man, and I'll break down why I don't believe that that's the right way, but I'll never tell that person that they stupid or anything like that because of the way that they feel and the way that they think because of their experiences. This is what we're doing as people, man, and that goes into so many different aspects, man. Like I was saying earlier, Chris Rock, man, him getting slapped. Bro, that right there it was uncalled for. That was Will projecting all of his frustration and all of his issues onto Chris Rock. Because what Chris Rock said wasn't nothing crazy, wasn't nothing out of way, wasn't nothing super disrespectful about what that man said. Let's be honest. And alopecia, yeah, it is a disease and it can become something serious, but let's be honest. We've picked at a whole lot worse and people have laughed at a whole lot worse. And it ain't like he was sitting there saying, "How you gonna die because you got alopecia?" No, he didn't even say nothing about her head or anything. He just made a joke at something that everybody sees and everybody jokes about. And this man was slapped in his face. And the Oscars in the beginning, they, by all actions that was shown by the Oscars and by the fact that Will was able to stay there and still enjoy the show, get an award, do a long speech, and nothing happened to him, shows that that was an attack. That wasn't an attack on Chris Rock. That was an attack on freedom of speech. That was an attack on saying what you want to say. That was an attack on our right to express ourselves. Now, Will Smith is starting to get consequences now afterwards. I understand it takes time for the process to roll, but that should have been dealt with immediately. He should have been escorted out of the Oscars, you know what I'm saying? And that should have been dealt with immediately to show that we're not in favor of people who try to suppress somebody else or speaking what's on their mind and cracking the joke. Now, Will got a problem with somebody talking about his wife, and his wife need to stay off the social media, and his wife need to quit putting the business out there, giving people stuff to feed and giving people ammunition to come at his family. You know what I'm saying? That's something he need to take up with his wife. But to go out there and smack Chris Rock for an indirect offhand joke, no, we're not going to accept that because when we start accepting that, we're going to start accepting people being shut down for saying what they want to say. They're already shutting down people. You see it constantly all throughout this country. People are being shut down from saying what they want to say. Now, it's not direct like other countries where they put you in jail and stuff like that, but no, they will try to affect you through your finances, which they will try to get you fired from your job for saying what you want to say. Now, I noticed there's a lot of people who are in support of January 6th and the insurrection. There's a lot of people who were speaking on behalf of the Proud Boys and all of these other groups. Guess what? I don't like what they have to say. I don't like their view, but I respect the fact that they have the right to say it. They have the right to voice their opinion too, because they are in America. They reside here. They're a part of this country, and they have a right to their view just like everybody else do. But the thing is not to try to change people's views. It's to coexist with people who have an opposing view from you. Everybody is on this quest to go around and try to make them believe what they believe, or make them believe what you believe. Everybody thinks that the world is going to be a utopia if everybody just get along with what information I got and what I'm going along with. This world would be a whole better place if they just go with my mindset. And so we'll go around and try to force everybody to think like us. And so when you have over 1 billion people with their own individual mindset, and about 100 million of those people think they have the answer to the utopia for the United States, and they running around and trying to force their mindset on other people, what do you call that? That's the same thing that the Catholic Church was doing during those Christian crusades. They was running around trying to force their mindset, trying to force their beliefs on the other people under the threat of death. So do you want to be the same as the Catholic Church during the crusades? I'm just saying. But you can't force nobody to believe what you believe. You can't force nobody to walk in your level of understanding. You can just accept a person for where they are and deal with them on that level. But trying to force people to believe something that's contrary to what they believe and what they've been taught is, I don't know, that's a form of slavery. It's a form of mental slavery. So let's quit trying to enslave people mentally to our mindset and our ideals and our views, and just concentrate on coexisting with people who think different than us, and being able to work together despite our different beliefs and things in order to have a common goal, and in order to have a viable nation. That's what it's about. That's what makes us United States. So, yo, man, this is boy D Mac, man. I'm about to get off here, and you know what I always say: sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out, man.